Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So what you're going to watch here today is the honest review of the BMW 335i. This is a junior supercar by BMW, and it's quite an interesting review. Let's hit it.
It's showtime.
Dear God, it's beautiful. A BMW this is. So hello everyone, Luke Grimes. This is a BMW 335i M Sport Individual. So this is a junior supercar. It's a manual transmission, not the auto. Would have been nice if it was the auto, but it's the manual. And this was a special version of the 335i. So what it means is that you've got extra options and upgrades on here that was not available to the standard 335i, and we're going to go through that today. Let's review this BMW. First of all, also the rear seats are incredibly comfortable down the back. So just to show you, they're like benches. You go into here, you got a lot of space around you, a lot of movement, a lot of space for your legs. You can lay back quite comfortably like this. There's a lot of space back here. Also, when you bring this down, you get a little armrest for your passengers. You even get cup holders. Just like that. Very comfortable. Also, you've got electric windows. Also, you have privacy glass, which is pretty nice. And yeah, let's go for a drive. Oh, you also get matte plates back here. Very comfortable place to be. And when you get into the seat, you are pretty hugged in. This is the M Sport, so the seat is bolstered and you feel it. You feel very hugged into the seat, and you got a very comfortable position here. BMW leather steering wheel, M Sport, so it feels good. Also, you've got volume controls. You've also got controls for the iDrive. You can also answer a phone call where you're on the move, because this model has Bluetooth. And you've got the M Sport badge and the BMW badge to let you know this is the M Sport model. And you got a lot of visibility, and you feel even the cutouts here for your thumbs. That's a beautiful steering wheel. It feels really nice, and it feels like a nice place to be. So let's start the engine. Hello everyone, Luke Grimes. So Luke Grimes is back, and we're reviewing not just, well, we're reviewing the car. Okay, so this is incredibly stable 335i. You feel very hunkered down, you feel quite low, and you feel like you are in a, it's not so much a jet fighter, but you're pretty close. You're hunkered down, you're low, and this is all about performance. So what it means is that you can really push on and drive very quickly and very comfortably as well, which is pretty good. And being a BMW, you've got a full leather interior, you have the iDrive system. This one was quite lucky because it was upgraded to the widescreen with a split screen function, and yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So just to show you what this engine can do, oh my god. This is why you have a straight six twin turbo.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, so you get the performance, let's put it that way, you get the performance. So this straight six twin turbo has 306 horsepower standard. This one's quite lucky because it also has the K&N air filter, so the turbos are getting all the air they could ever want. So it's a little bit over 306 horsepower. And wow, do you feel it. So being a straight six twin turbo, you can quite comfortably be in the higher gears. So at the moment we're in fifth, are we? Fifth? Yeah, sixth, fifth. Yeah, fifth. And we're pretty comfortable. We can just cruise along with little effort to no effort whatsoever, and just have a very relaxing drive. But then also when we want to open her up, oh my god! And that's the joys of having 6 cylinders and 2 turbos, because what you get is a lot of power. So when you really want to go really fast, you just do it. You don't have to go up a gear, you don't have to go down several gears to get the engine to rev to 3,500 RPM and go. You literally can be at 2,500 RPM and you can go pretty quickly. But also when you bring up the revs, that's it. You're an absolute missile. You're absolutely gone. And being the straight six twin turbo, there's not a lot of there's quite few cars that can keep up. And when you open her up, you are gone. Everything's a blur behind you. All the cars are gone. Nothing can keep up with you. And that's the joys of having a massive engine. This is the first incarnation of when BMW started transitioning to turbocharged engines. So to this one, this was their first straight six turbo. But instead of a single scroll turbo, they used 2 because that was the technology at the time. So why did BMW use 2? Well, they did it to reduce lag. So by having 2 turbochargers pooling, it reduces lag and makes sure that the turbos can spin up really quickly. But yeah. Again, that's the joys of having all that power. You just overtake. But that's an example. So you got a lot of power, a lot of torque, and then you can just cruise like this. You just cruise. You can just chill. So that's pretty cool, really. Very, very cool. Also, being a straight six twin turbo, the engine's very modern by BMW by those standards. So what it means is that people crossing the white line on a corner, that's dangerous. Jesus. What that means to you is that what you're getting is an engine that starts on the button, which is pretty good. This model also had a start button, so you don't have a key, as in you have to put a key into a key slot and start her up. You just press the button and the engine spools up, which is pretty good. And that's just down to the technology at the time. It was BMW moving on to keyless, starting to transition to keyless start, and also down to the engine technology as well. So all about premium, all about being, hey, this is not just a car, this is a BMW. So and this is not just the BMW, this is the 335i. So yeah, quite powerful, quite powerful. The only negative is that this is the manual. So there were incarnations. There was an automatic version. It wasn't the 7-speed ZF. It was like an earlier form of auto gearbox. But yeah, it's the ZF Auto is a magnificent gearbox, but the technology wasn't there. So what you have is a 6-speed manual where the gearing is quite close together, and what it means is that you get a fairly fast gearbox. The gear changes are smooth, although they are long. Sometimes they are a bit of a throw, but you can change the gear pretty quickly if you're on it, and also the gear changes are pretty comfortable. It's there's never been an occasion where the gearbox has missed a gear. It's never done that. Getting into reverse is quite straightforward as well, and we're quite lucky because this 335i is not like many other 335i's. So this has the catback, stainless steel exhaust system, and holy crap, do you notice it? You get these straight 6, like these real sound waves, these real detonations in the air. You can actually hear the sound vibrating off the trees, the sound waves actually bouncing off. And same with houses too. Because you've got a massive engine, you've also got a massive engine creating a lot of power, which creates a lot of bang, which creates a lot of sound waves that smaller engines could never generate, that don't generate. Brakes are M Sport, so they're very on, and you've got a lot of braking power, on this one. Again, because it's like straight 6 twin turbo, you want to rev her out. Oh yeah, rev her out. And as well, which is pretty interesting, you get a pop of a big engine, you know, just a massive engine going blah 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 blah. I need to kill you. I need to kill you with sound and bang. Because you don't often find these. These are pretty rare to find a straight 6 twin turbo, because you've got to imagine most engines at the moment are inline 4s or 3 cylinders now, because fuel and emissions. Don't buy this BMW if you're thinking about fuel economy. You don't buy this for fuel economy. you want fuel economy, you're looking elsewhere. Because again, it's a straight 6, you're feeding 2 cylinders at the same, or you're feeding 6 cylinders, and also twin turbo. And also, when you've got to think to yourself, you've not just got 1 cylinder in the combustion cycle, you've got 2 cylinders at the same time going into the combustion cycle. So that's part of what makes this a really unique sound, the inline 6, because you've got that sound waves of not just 1 but 2 cylinders detonating at the same time, which is pretty. Is that right? Oh no, 6 cylinders. Well, pretty. All right, pretty close together. It's going to be so minute that it's going to be nearly like 2 cylinders going, you know, both going bang, bang, bang. Yeah. What an engine. It's very easy to drive very fast. It's also quite easy to drive comfortably and gently when you want to. Because it's such a massive engine and twin turbo BMW, you don't have to use a lot. Yeah, you barely, as you see, you barely use any revs. At the moment we're at, what, 1,200 RPM roughly. And yeah. That's second gear. I'm already in third. or in fourth. You know what I mean? You're accelerating and you're barely touching 1,500 RPM. So yeah, it is a quite magnificent engine. A lot of power, a lot of torque. But yeah, there were two versions, the manual and the auto. The auto is always going to have that edge because the auto is deciding the gears for you. And you know, at the end of the day, a computer brain can decide the gears faster than you ever can. So, yeah. 3 Series, so yeah, she's a bit big in these country lanes. So as you see, we're just having to be a little careful. But you also got a lot of luxuries. You've got things like auto lights.
Jesus Christ! Dude!
You're on the other side of the road, you nutter.
He's an asshole.
You also have xenon lights, you have auto lights, you have the halo lights from BMW, and also, being the M Sport, though you're hunkered down, the ride is very well tuned by BMW because you are fast, and you can absolutely decimate the corners, and because you're so hunkered down, but it's also quite comfortable. That, you know, she's actually doing a pretty good job of absorbing the bumps until you get to, you know, bigger potholes, and then you're like, bang, bang. But if you want comfort, then you need to look at like an SE version, you know, the wider sidewalls and the softer suspension. But this is what this is, the 335i M Sport is about. It's about going really, really fast, but also having a fairly comfortable ride when you do want to just cruise around. And yeah, you feel a lot of confidence. This is one of the last BMWs to have hydraulic steering. So what that means is you get a lot of feel for what the steering is doing, and it gives you that confidence to know when you are not when you're running out of grip, but when you're getting close to, okay, this is the edge of what the suspension can do, and then you know when to back off, but you also know when to accelerate, because you're getting a lot of feedback from what the steering is telling you. And this is just going through, like, as you see, just going through town. Got this lovely straight 6, but I've already sold you this car, haven't I? And that, you should look at a 335i. Look at that. Oh, you got a
Yeah, baby, yeah!
pop, 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 pop. And that pop, 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 pop is just by touching the accelerator. And then you get that deep straight 6 turbo growl, where it's like, it's like, I'll be back. And it's got that, oh, yeah, it's quite a something, that sound. It really is quite a something. But this is the joys of a straight 6 twin turbo, so you can feel the turbochargers. Very close. Taking from my car, but they're not even there. They're not even there. Which is really interesting. And then you just go back to a gear, go back to 5th, and you cruise. The iDrive system, back in the day, this was absolutely incredible. This is the easiest car entertainment control system that's ever been. BMW somehow nailed it. And see, that M Sport suspension just makes you have the confidence to go, that's it, I've gained on that Volkswagen. And that wasn't changing gear, that was staying in the same gear and just using the torque and power of the straight 6 twin turbo. So, yeah, and you feel very fast right now. Again, pushing on, still can push on, just like that. And you have things like the dynamic stability control, you have the traction control, all aiding you to make you stick to the road so you can deploy the torque and power of the straight six. And how BMW have evolved as well, you know. Being a straight six twin turbo, you do gain on everything in front of you, and you gain on them quickly. So if I just rest the throttle, I'm already gaining on that Volkswagen. See, I haven't even tried, and I'm already on it. I'm already off the throttle because I have all this power and torque. And if cyclist nutters, you have all this torque and power. The moment you use it, you just want to overtake. You just want to overtake that little 1.4 Volkswagen in front of you because you're just outgunning it every single way. Speed, suspension, everything. You are a missile. But then if you want to, you can just cruise like that. It's awesome. 7,000 RPM, so that's really interesting. Very few engines rev to 7,000 RPM. I mean, you think most engines only rev to 6. This revs to 7, and that's all about having that extra torque, the extra power, and also the extra ability to rev out so that you are just the fastest car, junior supercar on the road. And what an engine it is, 7,000 RPM. The throttle is precise and instant. The throttle is so fast, and you get to the speed limit very quickly without even realising it. It's that effortless power that's just there, ready for you. But you are consuming a lot of fuel because you have 6 cylinders to feed 2 turbos. So also, thanks to what we have noticed as well is the catback system has made a significant improvement. You feel it, there's more power and there's more torque everywhere with the catback system. Also here in that magnificent straight six, and the 6 cylinders. Oh yeah. You just need an auto. Yeah, it is magnificent. The steering wheel is, well, look at that. You can't argue it. And thanks to being a straight six twin turbo, we didn't need to change gear, and we're already accelerating just like that. Holy crap! Holy crap! How many power does this have? Holy fuck! It's really powerful. I'm really gaining on that car like it's not even there. Oh my god, I'm on the brakes. Oh my. You think, is that because... No, it's not down to Luke Christ driving. It's not that. When you drive a car or a supercar with a massive engine, all of a sudden speed is a blur. All of a sudden 30 is nothing to this engine. So when you touch the throttle, it gets there in no time because to it, it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. But on a much smaller engine, of course it does, because it has a lot less power and torque. So its speed is more in that 30 limit where it has to work a lot harder to get there. So yeah, this is quite a magnificent engine really. The first turbocharged engine from BMW, moving from naturally aspirated straight sixes. And those turbos, so what do those turbos do? Well, they give you that extra torque, they give you that extra punch. So even uphill you can accelerate pretty quickly, which is pretty awesome. You just stay there. Don't go forward, just let me through. Just let me through and you'll be fine. There we go. There we go. Nice one. So just to show you what I mean, so this is uphill. Holy fuck! Oh my god! Oh, somebody wants to go. I'm literally being pushed back in the seat. That's how much power and torque there is because of those turbochargers. You know, those turbochargers are helping this engine give that grunt to go, wah! And this is the thing, this is not a supercar, this is not the M3 supercar, this was below that, there was just before that. So this is a taster of what a supercar can be like. I'm the power and torque of a supercar, so yeah, and it's a very comfortable place to be. I think the sound deadening is pretty good, considering this is from 2006. So I'd say sound deadening is quite comfortable. You can be quite comfortable on a dual carriageway, on the A roads like these, or B roads, and have a very comfortable ride, and then also have hearing the sounds of the straight six with the windows down. It's just really comfortable place to be. M Sport, so you've got the bolstered seats, and for this generation, and you do feel it. You feel hunkered in the seat. You feel wrapped around it like a cockpit, and the steering wheel is just beautifully weighted. Like, it gives you confidence to just push on. It really does. But being the M Sport model, you do feel all those bumps. But because of that steering, you just, look at that, you just have the confidence to know what the wheels are doing and just to push on, which is pretty cool. But this is one of the things about a manual that is a pleasure. Yeah, it's a pleasure, but it's also the thing, isn't it? If it was an auto, she would kick down, she kicked up a gear, but because this is the manual, you have to pick your gears. So right now that Skoda's going pretty quickly, so there won't be any overtaking opportunities now, because we're at the speed limit. But if you were going to go for the overtake, you would have to shift her down at least one gear, because this gearing, we're in 6 right now, which is motorway over 120 miles an hour. It means the acceleration is translated differently. So this is 5th. There's not even a gap for us to go into, so we're not going to do that. So that was 5th, and you see how the revs were brought up, because that's more of a gear for roads like these when you go for an overtake. But because it's a manual, you have to tell the BMW to do it, to go into that, to be in the right gear. And in a way, that's also fun of having a manual car, that you feel like you're telling the engine what to do. They have control. But yeah, to think this is a Genius Supercar from 2006, and it is epic. It's really good fun to drive. It's a lot of power, a lot of torque. You can have a really fast drive in this, and yeah, then just comfortably waft home or head back to work in comfort. This is like a Grand Tourer. This BMW, it's just so comfortable when you want to do a long run, but you have the power and torque to just decimate everything and overtake everything in front of you like it's not even there. But remember about the gearing, you need to make sure you're in the right gear sometimes for that overtake in the A roads, because if you don't, then the gearing won't let the engine spool as fast as it could be, and that's just down to the manual. If it was an auto, it would instantly drop down a gear and know, alright, you need to be down 2 gears, but it's manual. Gear changes are short throw. So you see there, 4th, this 3rd, 4th. See, we were able to change it into 4th in seconds, but yeah, you got to change gear, and you do lose those seconds when you change gear when you are trying to overtake. But you can also be in high gears and just comfortably cruise along. But it's just a nice place to be, isn't it? It really is. It's a nice place to be. Even the clock is nice. We've got automatic lights. We've got cruise control as well, with adjustable cruise control that you can press the stalk for going faster and pull the stalk away from you to increase your speed, and then pull the stalk backwards to reduce your speed. It's pretty interesting. Being a car though, parking. Yeah, trying to find parking. See, it's just the joys of a manual where you have to figure out which gear to be in. I think we could park there. I don't see any problem with us parking there. because I don't know what the rules are there. And also we have reversing sensors, so there's nothing wrong. Just figuring out a place to park, and then electronic mirrors as well, so you can adjust them. You've got the rear sensors, which are pretty accurate, just like that. And you know what? Let's go this way, and then what we'll do is we'll stop, we'll have coffee, and job's a good one, isn't it? Gotta love that pop 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 pop. Oh, it's so good. Blah, 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 blah. Pop 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 pop. Straight six. Oh yeah, yeah, baby, yeah. Gotta love her. Yeah, straight six. So it's yeah, this is just a really nice place to be. Just like that. And interior. So on this particular model, we got BMW individual leather. Love this colour. This is a very bright, colourful colour, and it makes the interior feel bright. It makes the interior feel happy and spacious, and just a really nice place to be. And look how nicely she's idling as well. She's idling very happily. And you get features like heated seats, navigation professional, auto climate control, which is pretty good, and automatic cycling, where the computer will decide if it should open the vents to let air in, or if it's a cold day to close the vents from the outside to try and warm up the cabin faster. So it can decide that, which is pretty good. And then you've got your central locking, you've got a dynamic traction control, and then you had the iDrive. So this was quite futuristic back in the day, and what you have is one control system, so that you can decide what you want. You can decide how the auto zone climate control, whether you want the the aircon to be wafted in you in a soft manner, or a yeah, it gets more airflow, or really intense. You can decide air distribution. You can do things like that. And then you've got things like the first cars to actually have a sat nav built in, so you can go to navigation. You can say, I want to pick a new destination for you by entering the town, the road, if it's a bit like a house number, which junction you're coming out at, start navigation. It's also got traffic report things, so it will tell you about traffic reports through the speakers. Also, it does things where if it detects that there's been an accident. Now remember, this is iDrive, so this isn't as accurate as Google Maps, or as sophisticated as Google Maps, but this thing can, not every time, but it can pick up if there is massive traffic jams, and it will actually offer to re-guide you to get you around those traffic jams, to get you to your destination a little faster. So just little things like that. And again, remember, this is back in 2006. This was, what was that? Was that like 18-year-old computer? And it could do things like that? Wow. Also, this was pretty lucky. This was one of the first BMWs to also get the first incarnation of digital radio. So you can, in your 2006 335i M Sport individual, you can listen to DAB radio stations. But remember, this is an early form, so most of the time you get a signal, but sometimes you don't, and you have to choose to manually scan sometimes to find a, like that. Like that. You choose next, and then you can choose like national stations, or you can choose scan, And the iDrive system is just really accurate. You can store stations, you can auto store. It's got all these features. This is DAB, the 2006 car. Ha! You got voice command. You got a typical handbrake. Although something to be aware of is when it comes to early 2006 BMWs, is their handbrakes are not the best. So yeah, try and make sure you put the handbrake up and leave the BMW in gear, because the handbrakes were not strong. It was just a thing back then. And then you got fog lights, you got your rear lights, you got automatic lights, which is pretty good. And then you got windows. Oh, sound system. Sound system is incredible in this BMW. So this BMW was a 2000. This BMW was an individual model. So what that means is that this got a sound system above the standard M Sport, and there are actual subwoofers in the seat, not in the seats, but underneath the seats, and the sound and the speakers were improved. So just to, it's tricky, isn't it? No copyright. Try not to get copyright infringement. All right, we'll just find you some music then, and just hope we don't get slashed by the copyright committee. So this is an example. And in the cockpit, so the cockpit is pretty much what you'd expect from 2006. You get your rev counter, you get your speedo. This being a junior supercar, no MPG meter. The 330i's had an MPG indicator here. Not on this. This is a junior supercar. So what matters is your oil temperature. And you'd say, why does that matter? Because in a fast, high performance engine, you beast them, you bring up the revs and rev them out once the oil is up to temperature. So that tells you when the oil is ready. So you don't do that when the engine's cold. Which is a sport thing. It's a high performance feature. And then you get your typical fuel gauge. You get auto dimming as well, auto dimming rear light. You've got this beautiful cluster here as well, and your map lights, and it's just a very nice place to be. It's very much quite a grand tourer. And then you hear that. Quite an engine. And rear wheel drive as well. So, a lot of good things. Pull out the key. BMW auto unlocks for you. It's just a very standard feature at the time. Also really like this. Privacy glass as well on the rear, so that was an upgrade at the time. And this one is very rare. This one had the BMW individual package. So what that means is that, think of it as if you were going to buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and you wanted to do some special touches. You wanted a particular paint scheme, you wanted a particular feature. So you would go to Pininfarina in Italia, and then you'd say, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then that's what you get. So BMW have their own incarnation of that called individual. So this colour is like a violet, and it is gorgeous. You get all the lovely metallic fleck. It's quite a unique colour, because you don't often see these colours around, so it looks pretty unique. It shows off the body really well, that big 3 Series M Sport stance, and it's a very pretty colour. It's not a very light colour, but it's a very pretty colour to look at. And also you got to love how the mirrors are shaped the way they are, like aerodynamically. Also piano black as well, just little touches like that. I think that was from 2006. Pretty awesome, really. Also get little things, so you also get automatic windscreen wipers, which is pretty good. Also, I think you get it looks like you get a sensitivity adjustment as well. If that's something you're interested in. That pulling the stalk towards you is how you then spray windscreen washer on there, and it would wipe itself off. But to think this is 2006 and the paint has actually held up pretty well, actually quite well indeed. Also, changes here. So BMW started to use xenons, which were brighter and further reaching than halogen bulbs. And also this one has the, because it has the xenon package, it also has the halo lights. So it looks good. It looks really good. And also the little touches. So when you put the key in the ignition, which is quite interesting. So you do that. I think I'm going to activate. Maybe not, because she hasn't auto locked herself. Yeah, okay, maybe not, because she hasn't auto locked herself. So let's see what happens if we do. So lock her. Then unlock her. Then unlock. Central locking and all that sort of nice touches. Let's see if she wants to do it now. She probably won't. Oh yeah? No. So when you come to stationary, the halo lights are on. And when you get into the BMW at night, the halo lights also come on, just to make your presence felt. And you got those kidney grills as well at the front. It's just so beautiful. I know it's not as exotic and as stunning as an M3 supercar, but it's the presence. We're also very lucky because this one was upgraded to BBS Motorsport alloys. So what they are is much lighter than the standard alloy wheels, and you do notice it. It just aids in making you go faster and getting better feeling through the steering. Indicators are not built into the mirrors like more modern BMWs. It's built into the wings, and yeah, every angle that you look at it, it's very pretty. The 335i also being the straight six twin turbo, twin pipes at the back, and beautifully lined as well. Just to say, hey, this isn't your typical BMW, or this isn't your 2 litre BMW. This is the 3 litre straight six. It looks gorgeous from every angle. Also, the 335i M Sport got the rear valance as well. So you've got that individual bodywork, but then you've got the different colour contrast down the bottom. So very, very pretty. Very pretty indeed. Very slippy through the air as well. Every angle is beautiful. Back in the day, this was quite a presence, but now cars have gotten slimmer and more angled, and things have moved on. But still, from a generational perspective, it looks good. The M Sport model also got the front bumper that was slightly different, more aggressive, more sporty. It's just lovely to look at. And that's why you have the 335i. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to be a little bit more economical, only a little bit more, than the M3 supercar, but still giving you a lot of power, a lot of torque, and a really fast performance. That's what you're getting out of this. So it's very pretty. It's pretty from every angle. There's lines there. It's gorgeous. Really pretty. And you can do a lot of distance on a BMW like this. Doing a lot of distance is very comfortable. Going really fast is very comfortable. It looks good. It makes such a statement when you turn up, especially when you've got that catback stainless steel and you've actually got the two end pipes at the back. You know, you actually got something saying, hey, don't mess with me unless you'll be destroyed. You'll be destroyed if you mess with me. You know, just to say, hey, this is a bit different. Also, just to show you, the boot is quite spacious. It's got quite a bit. It's a fairly big boot, and you can do quite a bit with it. It's a good boot. And having that confidence as well. Oh my god! Just being able to push her on. It's an experience to drive a 335i. It really is an experience. Yeah, love the little details as well. Where if you press on the call it a thingy, whatever that is, that flap is, where you put your pound coins or your feet, where you put your pound coins in. Opens softly. Also, this has the aluminium trim, which is gorgeous. Love the aluminium trim as well, and just such a nice place to be. See, you can just comfortably cruise like this, and everything's fine. It's just a very nice place to be. Very nice place to be. But don't expect USB port in the dashboard or hidden away, because this was 2006, so the Apple phone hadn't, I'm not sure if it even had been invented. Yeah, the iPad hadn't even been invented. So the thought of charging your phone was not really there. So that's why it was only later on with the next generation iDrive did you start to see a standard USB in the more modern interiors. Yeah, and the brakes are incredibly powerful, and then you can just cruise. That's the beauty of having a big engine, is you can just cruise like this very comfortably. Like, it's no bother, just very comfortable. Just like that. Like this, it's just very, very cool. Just very cool. Just being able to do this. People overshooting the corners, and the minis with black stripes on them, and that they still overshoot the corner because the suspension can't cope. Or maybe not, maybe it is just bad driving, who's to say. But luckily, the nice thing about the 3 Series as well is it's not as big and as long as a 5 Series, so it means you're better able to deal with these smaller roads. So yeah, we will finish up this review and take it from now. We've got the 4-wheel drive thingy. Yeah, we'll finish up this review now, and we'll just finish. Things where you can disable, you can literally disable the limit the traction control if you wanted to. Which is pretty interesting. You're okay. Just might as well come back. And she starts on the button every time. And just to show you the power and torque, don't even have to try. What an engine. I've also noticed, well, you'll also notice on the 335i M Sport is notice that the speedo, that the top of the speedo, the speed is 80. What the writers learn about cars is that a junior supercar and the supercar, often the top is the cruising speed. That's the cruising speed of the engine, or the supercar engine. And that's just another example of how this is such a fast car. Such a fast car, junior supercar, because it literally wants to cruise at 80. Like, yeah. Whereas other cars, much smaller cars with much smaller engines, they would have to work really hard to get to 80. Not a straight 6 twin turbo. Also the cruise control, you can do things where, so this has cruise control as well, and you can push the toggle away from you to increase your speed, or push the toggle towards you to decrease your speed, and it has a resume function as well. So look at that. If you accelerate and then you go back, press the button, it resumes the cruise control to the speed you set it at, and then just to let go, put the stalk up or down, and that's how the cruise control works. Honestly, we're just cruising. We're not even working hard, we're just cruising in this BMW. So where does this BMW fit in the range? It fits as the just before having an M3 supercar. Well, trying to give you a little bit more fuel economy, and still having a very powerful, very torquey engine. Really good spec for the time, really good features for the time, very comfortable for doing a lot of miles in and for touring, and very fast when you are going fast and you want to overtake everything, and you're going to overtake everything, and it is a beast. The only thing you've got to keep in mind is the manual. The auto does a better job of getting the best out of that straight 6 twin turbo, because the auto, the size that will figure out the best gear to be in faster than you can ever change gear, and know which gear to be in, and when you want to go fast you don't think about it, it steps down the gears when you need to, where it knows is the best gears to be in, and then you just shoot, you know. But the manual, you've got to drive it. There's more, you've got to put more effort into your driving. And that is the 335i M Sport Individual. The Individual was a special one. Quite special. There are individual M3 supercars out there, it's just a matter of finding them, and they are incredibly rare, because the extra options that you got through the individual package were in the thousands, and they weren't on the standard spec sheet, so, or the standard upgrades, so that was a bit of more of a, you know, like going to Pininfarina with your Lamborghini. It was a more of a special experience, but you know, but in a you know, it's there. It's not touting you in the face that it's been upgraded by a Barmer Pininfarina. You just know it's BMW Individual. It's that extra level, and that paintwork is, that paint is just gorgeous. It really is so pretty to look at. The sparkle as well. The seals are really good. Love the black detailing as well. So because this is the M Sport Individual model, you notice that it isn't chrome along here compared to say the 320s. No, the 335i's got black trim because sport, high performance. Just little things like that. And when you look into the engine bay, that is a treat to behold. But let's have a look at it. So, when you're looking at the engine bay, this was the first incarnation of the straight 6 twin turbo. And look at it, it is an absolute beast of an engine. It's also facing that way. So the drive shaft goes from there from the gearbox, because it's that way, not transverse, right to the rear wheels. So you got a honking great big engine, loads of power, 2 turbochargers feeding those rear wheels. And even look at the exhaust piping, look at the heat shielding, and a massive radiator. It's all big, it's all even the induct here, that it's also quite a bit of plastic, but plastic is lightweight. So double overhead cam, pipe, K&N air filter. Changing the oil filter, super easy to get to. Changing the oil, really easy to get to once you've got the BMW on the lift. Trying to do a spark plug change though, a lot more complicated to get to those spark plugs. There's a whole lot of stuff you've got to get out of the way to get to it. BMW made easier with the newer incarnation, the straight 6, but that's where your cabin filter is. That's where you change your cabin filter. That's your brake. That's your windscreen washer, and that's about it. Your alternators down there. It is quite an engine, but it also loves to consume fuel. And look at that. Even the plate says BMW individual. This is violet blue metallic. There you go. There you go, people. Built in 2006. 2006, this was built all those years ago in Germany. Not China, Germany. The fact that BMW has stamped it to say this isn't just a 335i, this is the individual 335i. Like, whoa, son. So what a car! It's a junior. So this is a junior supercar. That's very fast, very comfortable, makes a hell of an impression, looks amazing, it looks sexy, it looks really good, it's beautiful to look at every angle. I love the two pipes at the back, and straight 6, twin turbo. So this is a car that, as long as you're not going off-road, or in really tight roads where there's very few gaps to let other cars pass you or overtake cars, you know, in the lanes, this car does nearly everything. But it is the early turbocharged straight 6s, so they're fairly reliable. The only things you've got to worry about is that 100,000 miles, usually the turbos, they're worn out by then. You have to have both turbos replaced. Rocker cover, gaskets, just little things like that really. Oh, and carbon build-up. You've got to also think about that. Carbon build-up around the valves, but there is a treatment for that to remove all of that carbon. But then the later versions of the straight 6, BMW then made those adjustments to try and combat those problems, but there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody. The only negatives are the manual transmission. That really holds back that 6-cylinder twin turbocharged BMW engine, because you're driving it and you have to decide the gears. If, say, you're in 5th gear and you're at just under 2,000 RPM, you hit the throttle and you go for say an overtake on a normal B road, you have to plan the overtake. But then if you get the gearing so you're in the lower gear, you don't have to think about it so much. But because it's a manual, you have to figure out which is the right gear to be in, and it is pretty annoying, especially if you're changing gear quite a lot and you're doing a lot of stop-start as well. It's just annoying, it really is. Apart from that, what an awesome junior supercar. It's a lot of torque, there's a lot of power, the steering is fast, the handling is very fast. And you combine it with a 6-cylinder and you are a missile on the road. You're not a supercar, supersonic missile, but you are a missile. And you are constantly wanting to overtake traffic in front of you, or traffic constantly gets in your way because you gain on them so quickly. But also, you can do a lot of miles. This is a bit of a grand tourer. It's a car. It's a junior supercar that does a lot of things right, and that one has got an amazing sound system for its time. But yeah, the manual transmission is a letdown. It's not the gearbox, it's that you have to decide what gear to be in. And the automatic version would have been the better choice. Letting the gearbox decide for you. Because the gearbox will pick the right gear faster, quicker, better than you ever can, and can change gear better and faster than you ever can. It's smarter than you in every way. You can see the days of, although there's a bit of a talk that, oh, manual transmissions are dying, we're not seeing any manual transmissions anymore. There's actually a lot of reason why we're seeing manual gearboxes disappear. One, automatics are faster and better and smarter in every way, and also with the way that junior supercar engines and supercar engines are producing more power and more torque. It's like only an automatic, ultra strong gearbox can now take the punishment that ultra modern, very fast junior supercar engines, or even M3 supercar, can take. Yeah, but its history, it was the first turbocharged straight six from BMW, and as long as you can understand, you will have problems. The turbochargers failing at say 90,000, 100,000 miles. You will have injector failures, you will have ignition coil failures, you will have carbon buildup in the intake manifold. You will have these problems, and it's just a part of, hey, this is the first generation. After that, BMW went, oh my god, the owners are reporting these problems, let's fix them, let's refine them with the next generation of 6-cylinder turbocharged BMW engines, and BMW did, and they fixed a lot of the problems that the first gen had. So yeah, as long as you're willing to accept that, and also the road tax, which is over £500. It is a very awesome junior supercar for the time, and also if you can save up and buy a catback stainless steel exhaust system, wow, the engine, the sound that straight six twin turbocharged engine makes. Remember, Top Gear said something about how turbocharged engines aren't exciting, and it's like, they're just silenced by the factory exhaust system, so you don't hear them. When you hear them, it's like, wow, that's quite a magnificent engine. But when you have the standard exhaust system, it makes that big engine really quiet. Thanks for watching.
Little rascal has to do it.
It's the end of the trail for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, kid.